So you just got your shiny new Nintendo and you've got this red flashing light. Today I'm going to give you 5 different things to try to fix that red light. The first thing I would recommend is cleaning the game cartridge. Now I'm using these 1-Up cards on Amazon where it's got one end where you can put some rubbing alcohol or whatever cleaning solution you prefer. And then on the other end is another pad to dry it. You can see it's already picking up some dirt. Then you can use the other end to dry it. So if after cleaning the game it's still flashing red, the next thing you can do is slide the game back and forth, like so. And usually that will fix it. So if the cartridge didn't work after sliding it back and forth and cleaning the cartridge, go ahead and push down so that it goes up, but don't remove it. Just leave it like that and then hit power. And sure enough, it works in that position as well. So even though those steps have worked for me, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a couple other things you can try. Now the next one is a little more involved. So with this Phillips screwdriver, you can actually separate the case by taking out the screws on the bottom. And I'll fast forward here to show you what it looks like. First thing I'm gonna do is remove these screws. So once you remove those 6 screws, you should be able to turn it over and those screws should fall right out. So once they're all loosened, the top should come off pretty easily. Now that the cover's off, you can see the part that we're wanting to get to is right down in there. So the next thing to do is take off this cover. Looks like there's 6 screws that you want to remove to get this metal cover off. So now we're getting a little bit closer to getting this out of here. So the next thing we want to do is remove these screws in the black plastic. So you can see the silver screws are a little bit longer. So you want to make sure to put the silver one in the same spot so that it goes into the motherboard area. Once you remove those 6 screws that were in the plastic, and if you tilt it up a little bit, it should slide right off. I thought that this might just slide off from there, but unfortunately, I think we've got to remove these 2 screws here and here. Alright, so it looks like we just had to remove those 2 screws and the whole piece lifts out. So then you should be able to just lift the motherboard slightly and then this should just slide right off. And this here actually doesn't look real bad. It does have some residue on it. You can see on the motherboard here it really needs cleaned. It's a little bit rough looking. So let's see if we can go ahead and clean that up and hopefully that'll fix our problem. I think the first thing we're going to try is just use some rubbing alcohol. Now, I just used my wife's toothbrush, but I don't think she'll mind. I'm also going to try a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a piece of cloth that you would use for your glasses. A lot of these contacts look a little rough. So one other thing I'm going to do is take out this other screw. That way I can flip the motherboard over. So I would just put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on any of the metal around the edges. So in order to clean the 72 pin connector, I'm just going to use some rubbing alcohol and then just try to brush it clean. And actually this pin connector doesn't look too bad, really. And I'm just going to wait for this to dry since I just dumped a lot on there. But it's not going to hurt it, it's just plastic and metal. Before putting everything back together, you might want to try a couple of your games just to make sure they work. There is one other thing you could try if this doesn't work. And that's replacing the 72 pin connector. This one here I went ahead and bought on Amazon for only $10 and it seems to work pretty good. I'll leave a link in the description on which one I purchased. So hopefully one of these 5 ways to fix the red light works for you. Don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up if you haven't already. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.